Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.
Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Sarah Fensky. So it's October 23rd, and that should be the height of autumn in St. Louis. Yet if you drive around with one eye shut, you could be fooled into thinking it's July. You might see some trees already dropping brown leaves, and maybe you would see a patch of red or orange. But for the most part, our trees here in St. Louis are still green. Joining us today to talk about the reasons for that is Tom Beshore. He's the St. Louis District Manager of Davie Tree. He's also a certified arborist. Tom, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And since we've got Tom here with us, if you have a question about local trees, you can give us a call at 314-382-8255. That's 382-TALK. Or you can send us a tweet at STL On Air or email us at talk@stlpublicradio.org. So, Tom, what's going on with our fall foliage? Am I dreaming that it seems like we're not as far along as we should be?
Yeah, so what's going on with the trees this year is we started spring very late. If you think about it, with all the rain that we had and everything else, so I mean, really, spring played a huge role in why we have what we have now. Mm-hmm. So what happens is the temperatures basically keep continuing. We have a longer summer and a longer fall than hot fall that we're typically used to. So what's happening is you don't see these. You don't see the leaves. We don't have the temperatures for the leaves to turn.
Mm-hmm. So is that still going to happen, or are we just going to run out of time?
Yeah, if you drive basically anywhere in St. Louis, you can already start to see these trees already start to turn colors. So, I mean, what's happening at night is we're starting to see colder temperatures, okay, and cooler temperatures, and we're having warm days. That's a perfect combination for leaf colors.
Okay, so the change in weather that happened maybe about a week and a half ago, that's finally kicking in the conditions we want.
It's finally kicking in the colors, yes.
How far behind are we from where we'd normally be? I know the normal keeps shifting.
I'd say we're probably close to a month.
A full month behind?
I'd say pretty close, yeah.
So for all those brides who sort of wanted the autumnal foliage in the background, they get their green trees.
They get green trees this year.
And is there anything that people who know about trees, is there anything you can do to sort of artificially stimulate these colors, or you're stuck with what nature gives you?
You're stuck with what you have.
Now, with climate change, St. Louis is getting a little bit hotter.
It is.
Has that overall shifted when you see those fall colors generally kicking in?
Well, you're seeing with the climate change, you're seeing St. Louis a little bit warmer than what it usually is. So our winters aren't as strong as they usually are. I mean, here 10 years ago, our winters were so bad, they were so cold that it took care of insects, it took care of diseases, it took care of a lot of things. Now, as we keep on going, it's getting warmer, and basically that's causing an issue in some of these trees. I mean, these trees have longer growing seasons than what they're used to.
And that's not necessarily a good thing?
That is not necessarily a good thing. It's not.
You mentioned insects. Is that part of what makes it bad? They're not dying off when they normally would?
Well, usually a very cold winter will kill off a lot of insects. And if you don't have that cold winter, then they're going to live.
And so what does that do to a tree?
I'll just use an example of the emerald ash borer. Mm-hmm. So basically, if you have 20 degrees below zero, it will kill off the insect. Mm-hmm. Here in St. Louis, when's the last time we even had any temperatures even that cold?
That's a long time ago.
It's been a long time ago. They're not killing them off.
And so that puts stress on the tree. How would that manifest itself? And is it something visible? The tree just doesn't look as good, or the tree could die young?
It could put it under stress. I mean, trees are like you and I. They have an immune system. Climate, insects, disease all play a huge role in how these trees react to different situations. So, I mean, really, that's it's kind of weird how they do that, but that's basically that's the way they deal with stress. Okay.
We're talking to Tom Beshore. He's the St. Louis District Manager of Davie Tree. We've actually got a caller who has a tree question. So, Denny, hi. You're on St. Louis on the Air.
Hi. Thanks for the program. I have a sunset red maple. I was wondering when I could trim the branches.
I think I would wait till, the tree goes dormant. That's what I would do, because right now you probably are starting to see some nice fall colors out of that tree. I think you enjoy the fall colors, and then once the tree goes dormant, that would be a good idea. If you're just pruning deadwood, you could probably prune it at any time, but any green branches, we'd recommend maybe at least go dormant.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Yeah, Denny, thanks for that call. Tom, does the fact that fall is coming later, does that affect the care that we should be giving our trees, or do we just wait for it to get to the point it would normally get to and do the exact same thing we'd normally do?
Well, basically what we're doing is we're finding out with a lot of these pin oaks here in St. Louis, they're the trees that seem to be the most stressed. We're seeing bacterial leaf scorch. We're seeing oak wilt. We're seeing those galls the little balls on the end of the branches that you see all the time. We're seeing those. It's because the trees are stressed, and there's so many pin oaks here in St. Louis. So what we recommend is do not prune them until all the leaves are off the tree or dormant.
So even if you have to get out there in December, that's when you want to do the pruning.
Yeah. So basically, December, January, February is a great time to prune a lot of your pin oaks.
So there's one other thing we wanted to ask you about today, and it just cracks me up every time I think about it, but this is actually a serious question. What are zombie trees?
So zombie trees are basically trees that they're alive, but they look dead. So there's a couple trees that you can drive around St. Louis and see them, and most people probably attest to it, are your crab apples. So you'll notice all the leaves dropped off on the tree, but if you go up and just kind of slice back the bark a little bit, you'll see that it's green. A lot of your walnut trees are the same way right now. Your cottonwood trees are the same way. Hawthorn trees. So
what causes this?
It's the breed of the plant itself. So basically what they're going to do is they typically will drop their leaves a little bit earlier than usual. Now, if it's during the summer and those trees are dropping leaves, then we have problems. But as we come towards the fall, September, October, and they start dropping, we're not worried whatsoever.
Okay. So if these trees are just shedding their leaves, what you want to do is check the bark.
Yes. And I would almost recommend you almost have an arborist, a certified arborist, to come out and check the tree, just because if you don't know, don't take the guess.
Yeah, you don't want to assume this tree's
No,
dead.
you do not want to assume.
But maybe you don't want to assume it's alive either. Zombie trees. You heard it here first on St. Louis on the Air. We've got time for one more caller here. Kristen calling from Arnold. Hi, you're on St. Louis on the Air.
Hi, I'm hoping that you can help me save my tree.
Okay.
So over the summer, we noticed that the upper branches, all the leaves died, and there's like almost a diagonal line down this right at the center of the tree, and everything below that is green and growing and had new buds, and everything above that is limbs are falling off, the leaves are gone, and the bark looks weird.
Okay.
Tom has a very puzzled face here. Tom, is this anything that makes sense in any way?
It does. I mean, do you know what type of tree it is that you're dealing with?
I want to say it's a kind of, I don't know. It's
no, that's all right.
Heart-shaped.
I assume it almost sounds something like an ash tree, where the top of the tree is basically it looks dead. You still have green stuff, green leaves out on most of the tree, but on the trunk you're starting to see some new growth that's starting to pop out. Those are called water sprouts. So that means that the tree's under stress. So my recommendation is at least have an arborist come out, take a look at it, and give their opinion to see what they can do, because most trees can be saved. Usually what we recommend is have an arborist come out, look at the tree, give their recommendations, because there's so much technology out there that we can save trees anymore instead of cutting trees down.
Well, that's great to hear. Kristen, thank you so much for that call.
Thank you for your help.
And Tom Beshore of Davey Tree, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem.
This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio, 90.7 KWMU.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.
The Gateway brings you the day's news from the St. Louis region and across Missouri. It also includes stories from the Illinois side of the river and our Metro East reporter, Will Bauer.
In Alton, in Belleville, in East St. Louis, in Edwardsville, in Cahokia Heights, at Scott Air Force Base, I'm Will Bauer. St. Louis Public Radio.
Listen to reports from Will and all of our journalists weekdays on The Gateway, on the STLPR app, and wherever you get podcasts.